What do all 5 of those pictures have in common? Well, you can camp at all of those totally free. One of the most frustrating parts about living in the van and living on the road is constantly trying to find places to park, although it's ironic because one of the best parts about living in the van and on the road is the places that you find to park for free. And before I get to the campsites, there are 2 things I need to say really quickly. Number 1, if you're watching this and you think, why are you sharing these spots? These should be local only. None of the spots that I'm sharing here are spots that I found by word of mouth. All of these are ones that I found on the internet, so they're already there. Number 2, if you're someone who wants to go check out these campgrounds, do it. But understand that so many people get frustrated when spots like this get shared because people go and trash them. At all but one of these campsites, I actually ended up spending like 20 minutes picking up other people's trash because of how dirty it got. If you don't know what it means to leave no trace and you're not responsible enough to pick up at least your own trash, then please don't go to these spots. All right, that's all I needed to say. Here are my top 5 favorite free campsites that I found while traveling around the US. Number 5 is East Fork Road in Pagosa Springs, Colorado. This is actually just a Forest Service road that has tons of dispersed sites all along the way. And one of the things I really liked about it is that the road follows this river, and so almost all of the spots are right on the water. It's right near the town of Pagosa Springs, which is a really great place to check out for the day, and there's also tons of hiking trails and other outdoor activities that you can do in the area. The area is far enough away from any big cities that you get a really great view of the Milky Way at night, which is cool, especially if you like doing astrophotography. But it is dispersed camping, so it means there's no facilities and you need to pack everything in and out. Number 4 on the list isn't actually a campground, but it was still one of my favorite places to stay. In California, you're allowed to spend up to 8 hours at any rest area, meaning you can sleep there if you need to. One of my favorite spots in California was actually the rest area that's located right at the Golden Gate Bridge. You get a great view of one of America's most iconic landmarks. There's bathrooms there, which is awesome, and it makes it really easy to go explore the city during the day. Number 3 is Fritch Fortress, which is on Lake Meredith, about 30 minutes north of Amarillo, Texas. This is actually the nicest free campground that I have ever stayed at. Each campsite has a fire pit, a picnic table, and a shelter, and almost all of the sites have a great view of the lake. The campground also has bathrooms and showers, which is really nice. There's a beach right on the lake where you can make a fire at night. You can go swimming in the lake. There's a boat ramp if you have a boat. And there's also a few good hiking trails in the area, so it's an awesome campground to stay at, totally free. Number 2 is Shoreline Highway, which is right on the coast, just a little bit north of Fort Bragg, California. I love the ocean, and so an opportunity to park right by the water was probably one of the highlights of my trip. This campsite is actually just a long gravel pull-off, and you're actually up on a cliff looking down at the ocean, but as long as you're okay being a little bit adventurous, you can find a way down right onto the beach. I love this spot to be able to hang out right on the beach. I got to do some cool photography when I was there, and one of the nights I was there was actually a whole bunch of whales swimming right off the coast, and so that was just really cool to be able to watch. This is another spot that's dispersed camping in the sense that there are no amenities, so again, you just have to make sure that you pack everything in and out. And number 1 is Aspin Basin Campground, which is just outside of Santa Fe, New Mexico. The reason this is number 1 on my list isn't necessarily because of how great the campground is, but because of how much I loved the things that you could do around the campground. The campground itself is located right next to a big ski resort, which is obviously closed for the summer. There's spots to pitch a tent, there's some campfire rings, but if you're staying in your vehicle, you're actually really just parking in this huge parking lot. There's a nice stream that runs through the campground, and there are bathrooms right there, which is really nice. But again, the reason that I love this spot so much was because of how much there is to do around it. There are a number of just really awesome hikes or mountain biking trails which you can walk or bike to right from the campground, which was really cool. And I actually just loved exploring Santa Fe, and the campground is just over 30 minutes away from the city. And so to be able to go down to the city for the day, hang out, and then come back to the campground at night was really awesome. When I was there was actually a bunch of other people who lived in their vans that were all hanging out there, so it was great to make some new friends, go hiking. I just had a really great experience there and would totally go back again. So those are the campgrounds. If you want more information, I'll put a little bit more detail in a blog post, and I'll put a link to that in the description. If you want to check out some more of the places I've stayed or see some more of the pictures I've taken, please feel free to check out my Instagram account. And if you've enjoyed watching this and want to see more videos like this, please subscribe to the channel. My time living in the van is quickly coming to a close, but there's at least a few more videos that I think might be helpful that I'm hopefully going to get a chance to make. That's all I got. Bye.